Members of the Republic Senate, Supreme Chancellor, I am honored to stand before you today. I am here to bring before you a critical issue that could well affect the outcome of this war. We all know how the war began. In a Geonosian arena, the Separatists planned to barbarically execute 2 members of the Jedi Order, along with one of our own senators. The Jedi Knights mounted a valiant rescue attempt, only to be cut down by the relentless waves of battle droids, when the survivors were about to be mercilessly slaughtered. It was the clone soldiers of the Grand Army of the Republic who rode to their rescue, and under the leadership of the Jedi Knights, they secured Geonosis, the beginnings of a successful partnership that has continued to reap results throughout this terrible conflict. These men have served with honor and distinction. They are good soldiers and fight daily to preserve the Republic. When my own system fell under siege, it was the clones of the Grand Army, along with their Jedi General, who came to our aid. Meeting these men in person and seeing them in action inspired me to value the men who make up the ranks of our military. Their efforts have halted the infectious spread of Count Dooku's insidious influence and kept hundreds of systems from falling to tyranny. With all that these men have done, I find that I must raise my voice in protest for their sakes. It frustrates me to realize that these men are the subject of discrimination. One would think that their dedicated service would have earned them the respect of the Republic. Instead, I find that they're suffering from rampant prejudice. Many establishments in the core worlds deny service to clones who they consider little better than droids. Our own citizens heap insults and abuse upon the very soldiers who protect them. And while it may be easy to dismiss this as friction between the military and civilian population, the military they serve is also rife with abuse. Clones don't receive courtroom trials of the citizens of the Republic that they serve. If they are lucky, they are subjected to a proper military tribunal. But more often than not, summary judgments are handed down by their superiors. And even when no infraction was committed, Republic officers can at any time label a clone as defective, returning them to Camino for reprogramming. They have no recourse to defend themselves against corrupt or abusive officials whose orders they are bound to follow by military law. In an ideal galaxy, they wouldn't need to defend themselves, but our Republic has failed to protect the men who protect us. Worse still, they are listed in Republic records as property, not people, products purchased from the Kaminoans who grew them. Our own laws do not see the men who defend us as sapiens, much less people. They aren't protected from prejudice or segregation by anti-discrimination laws. They aren't afforded the basic sapience rights guaranteed to all of our citizens under the Constitution. If one of our own citizens assaults or murders them, that criminal will be charged with the destruction of government property, not the murder of a person. These men live for our Republic, born and raised on our orders. They fight for our Republic, winning battle after battle to defend the freedom they are denied. And they die for our Republic in vast numbers, dying to defend those who have failed to defend them. There are those who would say this matter is irrelevant, that the clones are manufactured and purchased to prosecute this war without risking our own citizens. I would say that argument itself is the problem. We bought the clones the same way the Separatists buy their droids, and we treated them the same way, as effective but ultimately disposable tools of war. But clone is not a synonym for droid. A droid can be repaired, a droid can be replaced. A clone cannot. An injured clone can only be provided medical care, which may not be enough to fully heal him. And a dead clone can never be truly replaced. They may all share the same face, but they do not share the same soul. They are unique individuals, as all people are. To those who would say this matter can wait until the end of the war, I would argue that this matter is just as capable of destroying our Republic as the droid armies of the Confederacy, because there is a single word that sums up their situation that I've been dancing around: slavery. The plight of our clone soldiers may not resemble the brutal slave empires of the Hutts or the Zygerians, but it's slavery nonetheless. Our clones lack the rights and freedoms afforded even the sapiens unaffiliated with the Republic or within our borders, much less those rights afforded to our citizens. They are the property of the government who purchased them to fight a war they might otherwise have no part in. What else can describe this besides slavery? Senators, slavery has been outlawed from our Republic for generations. This body has declared it an abomination against sapient life, and yet we have forced it, knowingly or not, upon the very men who protect our own freedom. How can we live with the stench of our own hypocrisy? But it is not too late. We can end this now by applying the law as it already exists. We must recognize the injustice we have committed and rectify it. And this is not something that can wait. How can we claim to fight for freedom and democracy when our own champions aren't free? And how much harder will our men fight for our republic, knowing that they are truly a part of it? And yes, this matter is an existential threat to our republic. Slavery in all of its forms is wretched and destructive, whether it involves the heaviest of chains or the lightest of oppressions. And this oppression will breed resentment and hatred. If we do not root out the seeds we have planted, I shudder to imagine the horrors we will reap. But it should not be to avoid some dark hypothetical future that we act. These men have been loyal to our republic in spite of everything. Their service has been unimpeachable. It is long past time that their loyalty is repaid and their trust reciprocated. Senators, I trust that you all have the heart and the will to do what is right. Thank you for your time.